Right. Could there be a new revelation happening in that dialogue? These brilliant, beautiful people sitting down and talking about the uncomfortable questions. Could something emerge? And I don't know if that's possible with the construct of the Baha'i tradition. One of the things I love about Charles Fillmore is he said, "I reserve the right to change my mind." Now, he would be viewed as a secondary mirror.
Yes.
But the understanding of God, of the infinite, of religion, of oneness, is forever expanding.
Right.
You know, certainly there are people in the unity movement that would never even consider inviting the entire Baha'i community into our sanctuary
Right.
at one point in history. Yet I believe that there's an evolving in the unity movement to say, why would we not do that? Why would we not invite the Imam to come share? And we've done that.
Yes.
And some of the concepts that the Imam shared from the Muslim tradition were very foreign to us. Yet we need to put our ears on and to listen. So there's unity itself is always evolving. And I think that all religions, to be valid in the current time, evolve with science, evolve with the culture of the day, and to meet the needs of today. And I don't see that as a stopping point at all. I see it as a wonderful opportunity.
Yes, it's an opportunity.
To say, perhaps the filter of our minds has interpreted scriptures one way, and it can be interpreted without changing a word. I don't know the answer, because
I don't know
these words are due great respect for the spiritual truth contained within. And again, I don't want no new religion, including unity, to be bastardized as Christianity has been bastardized, pardon my French in that, by it becoming so fragmented that we don't even know what was really taught in the beginning. The great
Somebody was saying that if Jesus himself came back to earth, you could not recognize his faith.
What did you do?
And Baha'u'llah says that's the reason why he came.
Yes.
He didn't come to repeal Christianity. He came to renew it.
Yes.
In that sense. And that's what he says that, he says that, I forgot the passage stuff. Well, maybe this.
What I think is the most common thing to maybe put a bow on our dialogue, because this has been, I think, very beautiful. We may not have all the answers. You and I sitting here are not going to have all the answers.
Exactly.
We never will. We are just two men with certain ideas trying to build a bridge. But to not try to build a bridge because we have uncomfortable moments, or to not try to build a bridge because there are subtle differences or things that we don't understand, is giving up. Yes. And I believe that I consider you to be such a great friend, such a great Baha'i, such a beautiful spiritual seeker of all traditions. To stop that would be a disservice to the Baha'i tradition. And for me, as a unity aspirant and seeker, to stop exploring when it gets uncomfortable, or to stop having dialogues when it gets difficult, is a disservice to Charles Fillmore. It's a disservice to Jesus. It's a disservice to the Bab and Baha'u'llah and Abdul Baha. We need to confront these things.
Yes,
and confront is not the right word. We need to be willing to sit together and put our ears on and try to understand.
As you mentioned, there are many things that I don't have the answer, you don't have the answer. We're all seekers. We are seekers. And on that question of homosexuality, for example, this is the situation, and in some ways the hands of universal justice is tied by whatever is here in all of these books. But then they elucidate the best they can under the circumstances until the next manifestation comes, from our perspective.
Yeah, and I think the only difference would be is that unity says we don't have to wait 1,000 years.
Yes, I understand what you're saying.
And it doesn't. It's a man-made construct. 1,000 years, 10 minutes. These are all man-made constructs, and our belief is that within God, within the infinite, there is no time. That is all a beautiful sense of oneness, and we like to use numbers as simply as long as it takes for humanity to evolve.
Yes.
So whether it be 1,000 years or 10 years or 10 minutes, it just represents as long as it takes for the transformation to happen.
I understand.
And maybe the next prophet will not be a person, but the next prophet or the second coming of Jesus will be a new age. That the human consciousness will be raised and suddenly we'll all have an awakening at one time. I don't know. I would love to be here when it happens, but I probably won't. But I'm going to diligently stand for that time coming as brothers and sisters, facing the same direction.
Yes. And you probably know that Baha'u'llah claims to be the second coming of Jesus.
No, I did not know that.
Okay. Well, you know, all religions await a Messiah. Hindus await the reincarnation of Krishna, and Buddhists the coming of the fifth Buddha, and Jews coming of Lord of the Host, and Zoroastrians the coming of Shah Bahram. They all have a name for it. And Christians the coming of Jesus in the glory of the Father. And Muslims, interestingly enough, are waiting for the two Messiahs, like we call it the Bab and Baha'u'llah, which they call it the Mahdi, and also return of Jesus in the glory of the Father. So, and Baha'u'llah claims in the Book of Certitude to be that Messiah, and that he did not go through this 40 years of suffering and 20,000 people who gave their lives for this faith for nothing.
Well, and people still today doing that.
And they're still doing that, particularly in the Middle East. And there was a purpose, there's a reason, and that reason is nothing but peace on earth as it is in heaven. And the passage that I wanted to mention, conclude perhaps this segment of our discussion, is this that I've said many times, that Baha'u'llah says this, I mean all of this. This is the changeless faith of God. It's the same religion. This is the changeless faith of God. Eternal in the past, eternal in the future. And then he says, you deny one, you deny them all. And that's what I mentioned in the Baha'i Center, that when I come to your center and see that all these posters from different religions, and then putting that sign up, one God, many paths, I see that you and I are on the same path. And we are seekers for truth, and will continue to seek truth together.
I will join you in the journey. You did touch something, and I hate to prolong our dialogue. Unity is not waiting around for a Messiah. Unity says you are the Messiah that you seek. You are the light that you seek. The being saved from the human condition, it already exists at the point of view to the degree you're awake. But let us continue to wake up together. Let us continue to hold hands, to join voices and hearts, minds and spirits, to know that there is something good happening, and we may not know exactly what it is, but we'll keep taking one step after another in the direction of that greater good.
Exactly. Now, you did mention the question of these questions, the differences among Baha'is also come up, and then the possibility of splitting and all that, going the wrong way so that we accept 90% of these things, but at that point we don't accept, so we are this Baha'is of this type or that type. This is human nature. From the beginning of the Baha'i faith, actually from the time that Baha'u'llah was still here living, being in jail, teaching his faith, but they were trying to split. Even during his time, and then there were more after he passed away, a lot of them, including his own family, they were closer, and they thought, well, if Baha'u'llah is the prophet, I also have this opinion, so I would do this. So the point that I want to raise is that not that people have not tried, but Baha'u'llah, through his authority, we believe from God, has said that whoever goes on that route in this dispensation is self-destructive and will destroy himself. So what is interesting is that perhaps, 2025, there have been 2025 movements of groups who, because of this or because of that, have tried to create their own sect within the Baha'i faith. But basically, there are 10, 20, 50 people who do this and they sort of fade away. And there's still people floating around. But Baha'u'llah says they call them covenant breaker. He says, because this is the covenant, that's what I have proposed for unity of mankind, but then if Baha'is want to have their own sect, it won't happen this time. If it makes any sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense. There's overarching laws, there are overarching rules that prohibit that.
Yes.
And it assures, Unity would say, energetically, a house divided against itself will fall. That those who are splitting off, trying to be separate, will eventually fail.
Right.
It cannot, because it's a house built on sand, as Jesus would say. It's not built upon rock.
Right. Because if you talk about oneness of mankind, and you have certain rules and all that, and I said, I have my own rules, it doesn't work.
Well, the bottom line, the rock is the oneness of all humanity.
Okay.
You cannot deter from that central
Foundation.
tenet. So thank you for being
Thank
my
you very
partner.
much. My friendship with you is one of the best parts of my life.
Namaste.
Thank you.